Wait, who was that black-haired girl? Where'd she come from? Yo, you guys, this is Blacklist of the Abyss, and you are watching my review for Strike the Blood, Episode 9. And it should actually be a relatively quick review compared to my other Strike the Blood reviews. So, instead of being 25 minutes, it should be around 15. Yeah, but hopefully it'll be shorter than that. And the main reason is because this episode just didn't have as much happening as previous episodes did. It was one of those episodes where we just kind of get to, relax and, ease up on the story a little bit and have a few scenes that are just for fun. But that there are scenes in this episode that build up the arc. There are actually a lot of them, but they're mixed in a way where you still get those scenes that are just for fun, like the ones with Nagisa or Sayaka. But the episode starts off with this hot blonde chick. She's on this ship trying to find some girl. You know, this guy shows up with this sword saying that the ship's protected by the Order of the Sacred Ring, and the blonde chick doesn't really care. She's apparently looking for this girl that they're protecting in the afterlife, whatever that means. Um, Apparently, that girl they're looking for used an escape pod and got away. I'm pretty sure it's that girl that we saw earlier or later on in the episode where she's like naked and injured and she's like got these bandages around her and stuff. But in the end, that girl ends up bringing out an angel, the blonde one. She brings out an angel, and the guy that's on the ship trying to fight her, he has this false holy sword from the Volander system or something like that, but that doesn't stand up to the angel at all. The angel just dominates, and that angel is most likely canon. Her name is Kanon, but it sounds incredibly stupid for an American to say Kanon, so I'm just going to call her Canon. Um, the angel's probably canon. I'm pretty confident in that. I mean, it's pretty much been confirmed, but not really. It hasn't been 100% confirmed, but it pretty much has been. Um, but after the scene with the ship and everything, we learned from Kojo that Sayaka's been calling him all the time. She's just been obsessing over him. And Himeragi is thinking, she never calls guys. She would reject calls from superiors and everything just for the fact that she's guys and she doesn't want to have to listen to a guy's voice over the phone. Yet she's always calling you, you know. And Kojo thinks it's because she wants to hear about Himeragi and how she's doing. Obviously, that's not the case. She wants to talk with Kojo. That's why she's calling. But Kojo has other things on his mind. Not Sayaka. He's thinking about Asagi, and later on, when class hadn't started yet, it was about to start. Asagi had just shown up, and Kojo asks her what the kiss was, like if it meant anything, what her feelings are. The answer should be obvious, but I guess he's just confused or something. But she tells him to go to the art room later on if he wants to find out. So he does. And when he goes there, she has him model for her. And while he's modeling for her, we get this flashback, which you saw my reaction to it earlier. It's this flashback of this random black-haired girl who we've never seen before. And she's looking at pictures of what looks to be her mom on this laptop. She's sitting in like the lobby of a hospital or something. So I would assume her mom had died because she was crying. But Kojo apparently saw her there. I really just do not know what that flashback was about. It was really random. It was really, really random. They just inserted that in there. We have no clue who this girl is. I mean, why would Kojo be thinking about that particular girl in that situation? Why wouldn't he be thinking about Asagi or Sayaka or even Himiragi? Like why? It just boggles my mind why that flashback was placed there of all times. But I would assume that Kojo has some sort of relationship with that girl, and I would assume that he will probably end up sucking her blood. But in the end, we really know nothing about this girl, so that's really just a hypothesis. It's a stretch, but maybe not. Whenever a girl walks into Kojo, it pretty much means she's automatically in the harem. So, but after Saki gets bored with what they're doing, she decides to make things interesting by dressing Kojo up, and she does it too. And they dress up in different outfits, and they start taking pictures of each other, and they just pretty much they have fun. The two of them go well together. They naturally get along. They naturally look good together. But after this little fun time is over, Sagi does eventually ask Kojo what it is that he's hiding from her, and she tells him that she will only tell him what her feelings are if he tells her what he's hiding. And I think she gives him the limit of Sunday. I don't know what day it is in this episode, but she gives him a limit of Sunday. And Kojo, he's wondering what to do, and he asks Himiragi about it. They talk out the pros and cons of both choices. They're trying to figure out what to do. They end up seeing Nagisa talking with this guy, and the guy gives her an envelope, and that ends up coming up later. But right after that, it focuses on Sayaka and Kojo a little bit. Sayaka calls Kojo that night and tells him that she's going to be on Itogami Island over the weekend. So the weekend where he has to decide whether or not to tell Asagi about him, he also has to deal with Sayaka. Not only that, but he has to deal with the fact that Sayaka is escorting a very important person from Aldegear onto the island. And the person's title starts with a P. She kind of let that part slip. Could be a princess, could be a prime minister. I'm going to go with princess though, because Natsuki mentions mentions Aldegear's royal family later on. So I'm going with princess. But after Kojo's conversation with Sayaka ends, he ends up seeing this explosion and this fire in the distance. And we kind of go over there and see what happens. And there's that naked, injured, dark-haired girl in the bandages that I mentioned. And probably the girl that the blonde chick was looking for. Plus we see a white-haired girl there with same hair as Kanon, same eyes as Kanon, probably the angel. Okay, 98% confident that Kanon is the angel and that was the angel. So yeah, we see Kanon, or I guess I'll refer to her as the angel because it's technically not 100% confirmed yet, but we see the angel fly off and just leave the girl there. But after that, we focus more on the fun aspect of Kojo thinking that Nagisa is being asked up in the sky and they're doing stuff on the roof. You hear it's that cliche where the guy over here, or not necessarily a guy, it's not always a guy, but people hear a girl and a guy saying something in a room. They can't exactly hear, they don't see them though. They don't actually know what's going on, but they hear what they're saying and they get the wrong opinion. So they played off of that stereotype. They did that cliche, and as usual, it's funny. People do it because it's funny. So, and it was funny here too. And it turns out that they were really just talking about a cat, and that cat ends up leading to Kanon and her introduction. And apparently, Kanon's really popular with the boys in the school in the class. She doesn't realize it though. But apparently all the boys call her Saint. So, Saint kind of links back to the whole religious aspect of this arc and angels and everything. So the fact that the boys call her a Saint probably means that she is the angel, just saying. But again, it's pretty much confirmed already, just not 100%. But Ken ends up taking Himeragi and Kojo to see all these cats that she has in this monastery. And the rest of the episode focuses on Yaze, calling Natsuki to the office, as she called it. So I would assume that they work with the same group. Um, I doubt Yaze works for the police like Natsuki does, so Natsuki probably works for multiple groups. But they're talking about this girl that's laying on this table or bed, you know what I mean, in this room, and I couldn't really tell if it was the same naked injured girl from before, but it might be. They mentioned that she was the fifth girl that they found, so it may or may not be the same one, the one that the blonde chick was looking for. Because with the lighting, you couldn't really tell what color her hair was. It kind of looked brown, but here it was black, so I'm not really 100% sure. But chances are it probably is her. I doubt that they would have two specific people that were attacked that would be important in this arc. They probably wouldn't. There are already a lot of characters being introduced. I don't think they'd add in another one like that. But and another one that's special in a similar way, you know. But apparently that girl, she's not a demon or anything, but she was apparently seen or spotted flying around and knocking buildings down. So Natsuki kind of finds that funny that she can do something like that yet still be a human and not be a demon. But Vatler ends up coming in and he says that because she has part of her body is taped up. Well, all of her body's taped up, but part of her taped up body is bloody, and that's because her spiritual center was eaten. Though Vatler says it could also be considered her spirit in general was eaten. And he transitions from that to talking about that ship from earlier in the episode, and he says that it's gone missing. And Natsuki takes that to mean that the royal family of Aldegear is involved in this whole situation. And we know that someone important from Aldegear is coming to Itagami Island, so that increases the chances of the royal family being involved. But after that, we end up getting that pretty much proof that I talked about before. Canon is the angel because she's laying naked on this hospital bed, examination bed table thing, and these marks appear on her. There's this researcher or scientist guy walking up to her doing stuff with these machines and stuff. And pretty much, she's definitely not normal. I'm not, like I said, I'm 98% sure she's the angel. But Battler ends up telling Natsuki and Yaze to keep Kojo out of this case because he can't beat the princess. Well, he doesn't say the princess. He says that he can't beat her. Yeah, and that he just died. I would assume by her he means the princess, the one that's coming to Itogami Island. I would assume that the princess is the blonde chick. Um, that's it for the episode. That's all that happens in this episode. I thought this was a pretty cool episode. We got build up for the arc. We learned a lot of stuff. Plus, there were just a lot of fun moments. So I'll give this episode a 7.5 out of 10. You know, it was a fun there were times that were fun, and there were times that built up the arc too. And there were times that could actually combine the two. You know, so it was a fun, cool, kind of good episode. So it's a 7.5 out of 10. But oh wow, just under 15 minutes. Nice. I was my prediction was dead on. But yeah, that's it for this review. Rate, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.